welcome to Pipedrive. So my name is Inês. I work at Pipedrive for already 2 years. My background is actually not in product. I've been doing web for 10 years before switching to product, and it's been a very good journey. And pass it on to Vanessa.
So, hi everyone, my name is Vanessa, and I've been working at Pipedrive for around 7 months. And I already had the opportunity to work in 2B features, which allowed me to be in touch with so many different people and teams. Well, today we'll be talking about diversity, but today I did a while. Before I will introduce you to what actually is Pipedrive, because some of you may not know. Here's a quick introduction video. It's around 1 minute.
Pipedrive is a complete sales CRM platform designed by experienced salespeople. It's the perfect way to visually display your team's sales processes and automate the essential but repetitive tasks you need to accomplish. You can track your team's performance using customizable KPIs which match the industry you operate in. By making Pipedrive your weapon of choice, your team will smash targets with ease by breaking down strategic goals into small, everyday tasks. The interface is visually intuitive and highly organized, which is why sales teams around the globe love using it. Because Pipedrive gives you focus and shows you what deals need your attention the moment you log in, no matter where you are. You can integrate your existing tools and processes, customizing it to your business. As a complete CRM platform, Pipedrive will automatically sync your emails and log your calls, keeping everything you need to know about a prospect in one neat place. So now you can stay focused, save time, and close more deals. Selling has become beautiful again. This is Pipedrive. We make salespeople unstoppable.
So, in a nutshell, this is Pipedrive. We make salespeople unstoppable. We are a CRM, and the idea is to make salespeople more efficient. It actually has been founded in 2010 in Estonia by 5 guys, and they have been in Lisbon for 2 years now. We reached 100 people here in Lisbon, but in total we reached the mark of 500, and we're working for around 80,000 customers. And in a nutshell, this is Pipedrive. Hope you have now a better understanding of what we do. And we are going to talk to you about diverse teams and the challenge of inclusion. We're going to focus on the design team and try to provide you an overview of our challenges and what we have been doing to overcome them. So in order to do that, let's just try to understand what is diversity, what do we feel, and what is diversity as a mental model for us nowadays. So it would be useful to go back and try to understand how we got to where we are now. So if we go back to the Latin term, the origin of the word, divertere, was actually, it meant to turn in different directions. And with the evolution of our ways of doing and being, it actually started to be and to have a wider scope. And it touched points such as variety and uniqueness until it got us to what we are today. So how do we feel and perceive diversity as it currently? It is actually the fact of many different types of things or people being included in something. So we came from this separatedness, from going in different directions, to variety and uniqueness, until this much more inclusion of parts in a bigger thing. So it actually, this concept came closer to the concept of inclusion. But how does this mean something for us as designers? Not only are we designing for a complex and diverse world, we are also designing within diverse teams. We are doing this job of building richer products. How can we make all of these people, how can we enable them to contribute with all that they have, all of their differences, in order to build a richer product, something that is built with all of those parts? Are we actually building a world where diversity is inclusion? Are we aware of the fact that so many different people can contribute positively to the creation of a richer product? So here at Pipedrive, as I told you before, we are 500. and we are spread across 6 different locations. So this is pretty diverse. And this is our design team. We are 22 people. And from here, from this image, you can see that we have some differences just from this picture without me saying anything to you. There is a structure, a clear hierarchy, and roles defined. So we're not only talking about roles when I talk about people, right? We're talking about nationalities, and with that comes different mother tongues. It comes different cultural backgrounds, different professional and educational paths. So these people, they have different mental models. How can we make them build something together that's richer, that can use all of those differences? So these people are not working together. So just as in Lisbon, us 3, and all the others, these are 5 different locations just within the design team. We're talking about different genders. And ultimately, we are talking about different personalities, and all of these people, again, how can we make them and enable them to build a better product? So if all the planets align, we can do that. But if not, it actually means trouble. To you?
Okay. So Vanessa was describing diversity and what that translates into the inclusion. So are we including people? So there might be some obstacles or things that contribute to not being included in the team. Sorry. So yeah, as you were saying, so we are spread across locations. So obviously being a part, it's part of the complicated bit, and I'm going to talk about a few more. So yeah, cross locations, lack of visibility of trust. What does that mean? I think if you're working with someone face to face, as I work with Vanessa, so I know what she's capable of, I know her capabilities, and automatically I know her, so I have more trust. So so the scheduling can also be difficult because of the time zone. So we're more spread apart, so it makes it difficult to include everyone into the process in every meeting. So that's an example of the cross-location challenge. We also have the cultural and language barriers, and that to me is nothing more than just acknowledging that people communicate in a different way. They perceive information in a way, and they communicate it back in a different way. So as long as we know that, it's a start and it's okay. So it's about the body language and beliefs and values. So we all heard the stereotypes, and we know that we've heard that Japanese like harmony, as the Southern European are warm and we use our body language a lot, and the Northern European like to work with facts. And we experience that. So we have to respect it and acknowledge that. Obviously, the digital communication involved in our technology world doesn't help. So there might be more misunderstandings, and just because people don't use emojis a lot doesn't mean they're not happy or they don't care. So we communicate in different ways. Obviously, personalities, introverts, extroverts. Introverts talk normally less, and extroverts tend to over talk a little bit, and it's sometimes hard to jump in, and I can relate because I am an introvert. So inclusion. How can we make sure that we're involving everyone in the same way, or making the best out of everyone's strengths and weaknesses? Well, when I think about inclusion, I have to think of maybe examples when I felt excluded. And it's not a Pipedrive, but I do have an example. And it could be as easy as I wasn't invited to a party, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper. So I studied in the UK, and then I got my first job there as a designer. And I worked on this app, and it went pretty well. And I designed it, the developer built it, and it was for a transportation app with live time for buses, etc. So the local post wanted to write about it, and to take a picture and to have an interview with us. And to my surprise, everyone in my company got the picture, was in the local newspaper, and I wasn't invited. So I worked on it, and it made me think why, and it made me feel sad, excluded, and made me think, is it because I'm Portuguese? Is it because my English is not good enough? So sometimes, not only in the workplace, of course, but these situations happen. So
We just want to make sure that we empower inclusion through process and communication, and in this case specifically for designers, and across all these different locations. So I'm going to start with the feedback and critique, which should be a thing that we're all doing right now if you're a designer. And if you're not doing it, get a process in place of doing so. So I'm going to get an overview of the iterations that we had on it because we were being excluded on, we're not happy with it. So we started with putting them in place, and we were separated by locations. As you can see, we had our ones on Friday, but that wasn't working very well because you weren't including everyone, right? And it was a silo basically. So we moved on, and we decided to have one on Mondays and one on Fridays. Again, we were 20 designers in different places and trying to communicate. And sometimes what happened was you didn't communicate. You didn't have the time to communicate because you don't know how to talk with them because you're still absorbing the culture, absorbing them, and trying to adapt and trying to relate to them. So, oh yeah, and in this format, we had two buddies. So what does that mean? If I'm going to present my work, I first have two buddies, designers, that are aware of my work, and they get the priority to talk first in the review. Okay. And it was time boxed, but this didn't work, and it wasn't working. We weren't happy. So we had the critique of the critique, or critique the critique. We shared our thoughts, and this is important because everyone gets to be heard. And then we iterated on it, and nowadays we have this format with anti-peers. What does that mean? That means that it's a mix between local with other locations. If we went for the sorry, actually mental health peers. So yeah, but we do a 1.5 hour weekly, and it's a smaller group. There is still, so we're about 6 different locations, different backgrounds, etc. Sometimes it's still hard to hear everyone and to make the people who are more quiet to be heard and to have a voice. So a moderator might help in these cases. So some groups have moderators, but I have doubts about that because I don't know. I think but it's a good idea because you can always follow up afterwards on Slack if you didn't have the time to say everything you wanted. But in this case, it might help. Other initiatives to include more people, work together. So the critique is one thing. Another type of initiatives, maybe you need the budget to do these things, but we have one thing called Moonshot. So we get together, in this case it was in Tallinn, and we put the groups with people that normally don't work together, and we were involving everyone. And we were developing new features, having new ideas. But before we went there, we actually involved the departments and other roles as well. So we asked support, sales, the product team, hey, do you have any ideas for us to bring? And we're going to try and develop them and brainstorm. And we have 2 days of activities. Don't forget to socialize. You get to know people's strengths. You get to know their culture. We didn't know that Estonians like sauna a lot. But yeah, prior to a project or afterwards, just get there and get to know them. If you are working with other locations, one of the things is virtual coffee breaks. So instead of having a coffee in the kitchen, arrange a Zoom call, get into a room, and just have a coffee together. In our case, it turned into awkward Fridays because it was a bit awkward. We ended up talking about roadkill toys, and we started calling awkward Fridays. Yeah, more social events, the normal get-togethers, a beer after work. Oh, sorry. The Christmas, yeah. And do this every day. So just learn how to relate to each other and get to know the other's strengths and weaknesses. Analyze, learn, because it's going to be a better product this way if you use and include everyone in the process. So just to wrap up, if I don't fall, as Inês was saying, we do have these initiatives, but we also have a strong hiring process, which in the beginning tries to match our values as persons, people, with the company values. And that makes a lot of difference because we're always talking about culture and company culture. And this is actually a thing that allows us to be working together and to respect each other. Not just, of course, we are all people. And if we get to the other side, we are building bridges. And we are actually, as cheesy as this may sound, sharing something together. So get out there, get to know your peers, and make sure that you are actually making diversity into inclusion. So thank you guys.